Hello and welcome back to the Spotlight. Tonight we're taking a closer look at Disco Elysium, specifically the political quest added by the final cut. Now, my love for this game is well documented and needs little introduction, and the fact that they went back and added more content made it be positively giddy to replay it. Having a great time with the playthrough with oOeyes. Specifically tonight we're going to be talking about the set of quests for the game's political compass, one for each setting. And while I haven't played them all to completion, I was interested enough to at least start them all. Now, since oOeyes and I are playing through the communist one right now, I wanted to give you all a taste of the other three. Fascist, Moralist, and Ultraliberal, in that order. These won't be complete playthroughs, since the quests carry over between days, and that would take way too much time. It's something that's sort of threaded through your existing playthrough. Instead, we'll be showing off the first few interactions and twists for these three quests, examining how they expand the involvement of several characters, and show off the detective's political leanings. You get a sense for not just how individual characters think, but how entire political identities are constructed. It's really fascinating, and honestly, some of the strongest writing in the game, including the stuff that was already there. Anyway, let's get to it. And let's see, here we are. Now, first off, Fascism. Now, the quests themselves happen at the start of day 4. What happens is, as you unlock the political thoughts, you don't necessarily have to internalize them, but if you have the thoughts unlocked, you will get a corresponding thought bubble the following morning, or during the dream sequence, that will let you choose which one you want to pursue. Now, they're mutually exclusive, so you can only choose one per playthrough. Oh, yeah, that's right, The Witcher is... I had heard that the first season was actually pretty well received, but I had not followed it myself. I've heard enough strong opinions about it that I'm...
cold from the broken window, and not too inviting, but it's yours. You've earned it.
Right. We have a narrator now. one of the other big changes in the final cut. But yeah, I've heard enough strong opinions in both directions that I'm kind of intrigued about it. But I need to set aside time for that. But anyway, what I also need to set aside time for is sleep. So let's get to it.
It's not easy, but your bones are so tired from what feel like weeks of work on the case. You have to try. After what feels like hours, you feel you might be sleeping.
Let me know if any of the volume needs adjusting. Like I said, I'll be specifically trying not to talk over dialogue here unless it's absolutely necessary.
Thoughts, baby. A million little lights in the dark. You're one fine instrument, brother. All those faces and all those names. All that laughter and screaming and scheming around. Every corner and every street. Recorded in you. Forever. On ferrotape.
Spinning. Tell me, am I dreaming?
No. You're spinning tapes at the discotheque. The great unceasing disco of the mind. The flash. The bang. The endless learning experience.
Hey, Zero. Spinning in eternity.
On and on it goes. For untold hours. At the disco where you first asked her to dance. Rising, above the dark curvature, the great wingspan of sleep, studded with stars. Behold, there are millions of them down there. The first time, the last time, the smoke in her mouth, the plotted flowers. The faces turning, changing. It's the world, Harry boy. And you're made of it.
Kind of flubbed there a minute.
Every day you're out there, you make more of yourself from it. I'm afraid you can't be unmade now. You can never forget this shit.
The colors. The voices.
All stuck on loop. Whirling, spitting out words and images.
You're the son of the world again. Harristar, a ceaseless agent. Picking up litter and old newspapers. Collecting your little bubblegum wrappers and idiotic picture postcards. Meaningless keepsakes.
Reading your awful letters and recalling things, aren't you? The endless names of the world. An address book you are. The map of a city.
But what if I want to be the agent of nothing?
It's too late. You're not made of nothing anymore. You're something now, Harry. I tried to drown you in the black water, but you re-emerged, kicking and screaming, running. And for what?
For the money, baby. For the greater good. For Revacon. Always and only Revacon.
So yeah, as you can guess, each of these corresponds to thoughts we've unlocked. Like I said, you don't necessarily have to have them internalized, but if you have one of the political thoughts unlocked, their respective trait will speak up here.
Solving your little crossword puzzles. Doing your tasks. Crossing names off lists. Trying to become some sort of world detector. It won't make it okay. It won't put smoke back in her mouth.
So yeah, here you can pick the thought you want to pursue when you wake up, or if you want, you can drop it. As far as I can tell, there's nothing special if you try to stay neutral, you don't do it at all. So yeah, in this playthrough, we have fascism, moralism, and ultraliberalism. I've actually got a separate save specifically for these two, but in this case, fascism requires a slightly different skill set if you want to get through it more easily. I've got more of an endurance and psyche build, so we will start with this, and I'll show you just how deep this particular rabbit hole goes.
There he goes again. He's a real political animal, our Harry. He still doesn't see that it's the world changing around him.
Yep, I spotted a typo. Well, not exactly a typo, but yeah.
He's
Still little
got
bits of that
no
here and there.
idea what he's in for.
Beep, beep, beep. The alarm is ringing, Harry. The disco circus goes on and on. You barely slept 3 hours last night.
Oof.
You can do it.
I've had those
It's
nights.
nothing. Do it for the city. Go. Do it for the wind. Do it for the picture puzzle. Put it all together. Solve the world. One conversation at a time.
Alright. Don't know if you noticed, but in the conversation reel over there, you could actually still see the hotel room through the darkness. I think there's a certain filter there that snuck around whatever it was that was placed over while you were dreaming. Anyway.
You were right, brother.
Ah, yes. Superfluous umlauts. Endurance is really enjoying those.
Back there, in your sleep, all the weak-willed delinquents, dilly-dalliers, foreign moneylenders, insane anarchists, and yes, the woemen. They've run this place to ruin.
I didn't actually say that.
But you did. Not with words, but you did, brother.
I do feel like everything's gone to shit.
It has, brother. But we are going to turn back time. A solemn gurgle emanates from your stomach. I will send you back to the time when the sun had not yet vanished, when it was still setting into the sea. The time of the suzerain. The time when love was still possible.
Not sure if I'm feeling it.
But just imagine, to go back with the knowledge and the experience you now have, and to do it all over. Do it richtig this time.
Ah, sneaking in some German. Outstanding.
Protect the suzerainty, clean up the city, revive disco music, and get her back. You could save Revachon. You could be the man, brother.
I mean, technically.
No one. Don't ask about her.
Get who back?
You fool.
Damn it!
Second chances are not about questions. They are about actions. Are you ready to start taking action, brother? Ultramarathon here meant Revachol. Our streets and all that. It's all there is. Just move on and answer the question.
Those of you who know where this goes, you can tell Volition is constantly trying to protect us and keep us from thinking about a certain facet of our past.
There must be others like you. Men who long for the days when words like loyalty and love meant something. People whose yearning for the past is so great they barely live in the present. Those are the men you need to find. Those are the guys who know.
So, how do I find these men?
Think, maybe you've already met someone like that.
Well, no one that misses the good old days like Renee.
Now we're making bank. A man with guts and a memory. I felt it too. He could be a treasure trove of wisdom. Who else?
The fat lorry man was giving off that longing vibe.
Bullseye. And that's the vibe we're looking for. Those are the people with answers.
Measurehead seemed to long for the glory days of his Seminese ancestors.
Now, there is a man who values the past with passion. And you know how the saying goes. He who clings to the past shapes the future. Measurehead is exactly the kind of man who'd know how to step back into the past.
That gray-haired lorry driver might know something.
No, not her. She's a woman. Anyone else?
I'd like to note that because the Pale driver actually has exposure to the Pale, she literally has memories of the past and would be very relevant to this conversation. But no, we're part of the He-Man Woman Haters Club in this path of ours. So
Okay.
here we go.
Don't worry. That's what your gut is for. Feeling these things out. Let me be your eyes, and when I know for sure someone's got that special something, I'll tip you off. 3 to 4 traditionalists should do it. No need to go crazy with those guys.
All right, I'm in.
History will remember us, and this time we don't have to worry about her being kind. Praeterea Redia, Kingsman. Charge for Revachol. Charge for love.
Right, fantastic. So, yeah. Fascist Harry, surprisingly, isn't necessarily about becoming Judge Dredd. Your overall cop behavior is kind of a separate variable. It's more about the, textbook definition of fascism, ruled by executive fiat, and the various characters that harken back to the good old days of life under the suzerain, or various other presumably better moments of the past. Of course, the detective being who he is, this has manifested in a desire to literally turn back time, and thus begins our quest to Doc Brown our way to pre-revolution Revachol. Now, let's see here. So, wanted us to talk to Renee, first of all. Currently at, I believe, 1600 by 900. I've got it set in streamer mode, so we are not getting sued. So yeah, as we discovered in Eye's playthrough, when you trigger the fascist thought unlock, it's predominantly concerned with women. I mean, you can bring up liberals, communists, immigrants, bankers, and whatever. It hates those too, but as we saw at the start of this, it keeps coming back to an obsession with women. Women, said with umlauts. Now, if you're familiar with Disco Elysium's big plot reveals about Harry's past, then you understand very clearly why. But this comes up with several other fascist characters you interact with. Essentially, you're getting a sense of how people build fascist leanings in themselves. Anyway, let's talk to Renee, and let's see where this goes.
Vigilance officer, what can this old carabinier do for you?
Just making sure. Alright, so we are about to ask this retired soldier here how to go back in time.
The lieutenant flashes you a quick side glance. His posture tenses.
Oh, Kim just loves this shit.
What are you up to now?
What?
He thinks you're playing a joke on him.
Now. I'm sure the officer means it figuratively. Like a forensic technique or something, right?
Now, sadly, I don't have the Twitch mode set up, because otherwise I would be voting on these. But for demonstration purposes, and because I want to get through the others as well, we're going to be focusing on just getting as much information out of these guys as possible. I'm dead serious. Can you help me get back to the time when love was still possible?
Bon song, son. You must have a loose screw up there or something. Sounds like you really mean it. All right. I will entertain this fantasy if you tell me what interest does an RCM officer have in time travel.
Oh, you're in for a treat, officer. Seeing the playful side of old René, he is about as rare as a red rainbow.
Men have lost their way. I want to guide them back, like a beacon.
Even after the revolution, after the beachhead, there was a chance. Had we just stayed true to our values, it happened slowly, like a seedling growing into a tree. Tiny incremental steps, imperceptible till the ticket was so thick you couldn't clear it with a flamethrower.
I just want a second chance. Gonna do it right this time.
This time? What happened to the first time? Did you make a mistake? Did you fuck up? Everyone did. And there are no second chances. We don't deserve them. You can't just go back and restart. That would make everything meaningless.
There's something substantial moving in him, trying to get out.
What is it?
Regret.
Regret. Oof. Hey, Kirby. Now, this is a real interesting pain threshold check, and also a very difficult one, because it's digging deep and finding a much more personal source of René's discomfort and hostility. Now, even with my not inconsiderable pain threshold, it's pretty difficult to crack. And I'm not actually sure if I'm kitted for this properly. So I'm going to backtrack a little bit. We are basically going to save scum until we get these, because it's kind of a fascinating look into some characters that otherwise don't get a lot of screen time or a lot of depth in this direction in the base game. So let me see if I've got any clothes that can help out a little bit. Pain threshold, pain threshold. Actually, you can see here I've got a little bit of a bug. When I started this playthrough, I picked up the green shoes. They didn't actually merge into a completed set of shoes. And that appears to be a bug through the rest of the game. So if that happens to you, all you can really do is reload from an earlier save and try again. Kind of a weird little glitch there. I'm not sure how that happened. So yeah, we got a 1 in 4 chance here. Actually, I'll go ahead and bump that all the way up. So, 42%. What deep, dark secret is René hiding from us? Regret about what?
Him.
Him. Yeah, I hear ya. Coffee is a beverage for any time, and I'll fight anyone who says otherwise. But anyway, yeah, we're about to dig real deep here. Who?
There's tenderness in the Carabineer's look. Tenderness that's curdled into pain or something darker. Even worse, a love aborted and smothered, stamped beneath his brilliant boot heel. You catch the old Carabineer's gaze, slowly leaving his opponent's wrinkled face as his dark eyes meet yours. Whatever turmoil raged in him a moment ago is quelled for now, willed back into the darkest unexplored depths of his mind. Never meant to be shared, seen, or confronted. A true master of his emotions.
René has feelings for Gaston.
Our lives are unique, and I have neither the means nor the will to help you change that. But I will gladly assist you with police matters.
The Carabineer is too old and feeble to be useful. But you will carry on. Mouvere tempore, Kingsman. For the tenacious, no road is impassable. The old Carabineer looks at you with weary expectation.
So this is a fascinating dimension to his character that did not get explored at all in the base game. I'm not sure if I'm not 100% sure there were no clues about it at all, but it's an interesting glimpse into a man trying to repress something he feels he should not for someone he does care about very deeply, but he's very bad at showing it. This, combined with his conservative leanings, his experience in the war, the fact that he's watched Revachol be conquered by an outside power after the revolution and just slowly go to shit, there are layers to the complexity here, and he's essentially resolved himself into never actually doing anything about or addressing these feelings. He's so deep in the closet that he refuses to acknowledge that it exists, but in some tiny little way, there's a part of him that is not true to himself. Buried within a man that is as honest as they come, at least in the genuine longing for the days of the suzerain, is a very interesting nugget of a lie. So this is the kind of stuff that doesn't necessarily form the origins of his beliefs, but colors their expression. So we'll see another example of that here with the Lorry Man, who especially didn't get a lot of characterization in the base game. He didn't even get a name. But we're going to ask him for help turning back time. So let's see where this goes.
This again? Really?
He's increasingly exasperated.
Listen, despite his hostile exterior, this one's got a soft underbelly. He's desperate for affirmation. Massage his ego. Feed him a few grapes. Make him like you.
Oh yeah, Disco Elysium fucking goes places with its script. It's incredible.
Now, what makes you think I know how to turn back time?
You seem like a man who knows what's really going on.
I do try to keep up with my own sources, independent stuff. You can't believe half of what you hear out there. I've done the reading. I know what the real experts say. Our greatest days are behind us, and we're not going back.
You can kind of see a common through line, and that people of fascist leanings are nostalgic for a past that either doesn't exist anymore or never existed to begin with. It's a construct in their mind that is that's basically used to justify their current behavior. What am I supposed to do then?
That's the question, isn't it? People think you and me got it so easy, but the reality is it's fucking hard to be a regular guy these days.
Pay attention to this bit here.
The rumbling in your stomach says there's something not quite right with this one.
You know, I get funny looks from people all the time. I know they're looking at my gut. I can see that. Big fucking deal. A guy put on a little weight. Who cares?
Alert. We detect major body image disturbance.
So we're seeing a root seed here
He's
of
really got
anger and
himself
resentment
worked
that's
up now.
Yeah,
Dangerous stores of pent-up emotion there.
that he has channeled into rage directed at other people.
He grinds a cigarette butt into the pavement and quickly lights another.
So yeah, we've got a not impossible logic check here. Better than even odds, so let's see what happens.
Did you not
Damn
hear
it.
what he said? There's a culture war raging out there, and this unlikely hero might be our last, best chance. That's how badly you're losing. You don't even realize it's happening. Thank God this hero is here, fighting for all of us.
No, I think there was something else.
You still with us, Runt? Or are you just gonna stand around like a glue sniffer?
So, can you help me turn back time or not?
Time, yeah?
Busted that roll
Listen,
pretty
man.
hard.
Do you even understand how hard we've got it? How completely stacked the whole rotten deck is against people like you and me?
He's not listening at all, just circling the drain.
Time, Lorry Man. Can you reverse it?
The lorry man looks at you like he can't decide whether he wants to smash something or break down in tears. The silence is heavy and uncomfortable.
No, I can't help you. And I'll tell you why. 'Cause there's no point. You hear me?
Hey, Kren.
Unless you believe in ancient fascist magic like some wannabe magus.
Actually, it's called extraphysics, and you don't need to be a magus to access it. The lieutenant doesn't utter a word, but his face says, "I told you so." This fool is a colossal waste of time. There's no kingsman inside him, just self-loathing and entitlement. Let's keep searching.
So yeah, we'll leave that be for now, but it is kind of an interesting window into a very, very tiny bit of humanity and someone that is otherwise essentially a caricature of a person. Like, he doesn't even get a name in this, he's just a deeply unpleasant person, but in this one instance, in this one quest, you start to get a sense of where it all comes from. His whole ideology is personally driven because he's just some random schlub that feels overlooked. He feels entitled to things he doesn't have, and he's blaming the world for his failures, for his problems. Now, if you actually pass that endurance check, it goes a little bit deeper, and you find out that there's kind of a relationship component to it. There almost certainly is. It's mostly conjecture, but you get a sense of just how this man has been exploited by people smarter than him for purposes he doesn't really understand, and his anger at the world has been weaponized into a specific political direction. Like I said, there's some real fascinating dimensions to exploring how you end up with hateful worldviews and maladaptive psychologies. This game in general is just a treasure trove of insight into why people think what they think, and it's absolutely fascinating to see how to start to get a sense for how people think and how that makes them take action. But anyway, we come to the centerpiece of the fascist quest, our man Measurehead here. Now, I remember this one needs some suggestion, so let's give him a talking to.
The unpromising race pupil returns.
I need to find a way to turn back time.
God damn it. It's becoming a thing now, huh?
Kim, you cannot even begin to comprehend the importance of this.
No, I cannot. Just make it quick, please.
You want to return to the past? You don't have it in you. Be grateful for that.
So it is possible to go back.
Anything is possible. Just not for you.
I get it. You're upset because I beat you once.
You
because I beat
bested
you up.
me in a violent physical confrontation. True, but I don't owe you an intellectual one. He just needs some convincing before you can talk to him mano a mano.
Now, this is also a pretty difficult check, and this one's a white check because it's required to progress in the quest. So let's be back out for a minute. Let me see if I've got anything else that offers suggestion. Bones.
The unpromising. The unpromising race pupil returns. It's obvious.
Hey, look at that.
The conversation to the topic that interests him the most. Something that he'd like to discuss with another man in private. Other than race science.
Yeah, it does have
what
that
else
kind
do
of
you
look
think
to it.
he's into? Light bondage? Tattoos?
No idea. The only thing he seems to care about are his women.
Bingo. This specimen has surrounded himself not only with one or two, but 3 stellar babes. What's more, all these girls seem to be koikos. What's up with that? You have to find out what's his deal with Grad.
Listen, there's something personal I'd like to discuss with you.
Personal?
It's time to address the men of war.
What is he talking about, Jean?
You mean the babes? Huh, I see. Perhaps we should talk in private. Come with me. What about the lieutenant? What about the case? You don't have time for this. At least not right now. Maybe later.
What about the lieutenant?
You go ahead and have your talk. I need a few things from Frit anyways. We'll catch up later.
Women. Racism. Turning back time. It couldn't interest him less.
It depends on the check. White checks you can come back and try anytime once you've upgraded your skill or done something else to make the check easier. Red checks are on the spot. You have to make a decision about whether or not to try it.
The lieutenant nods, then puts away his notebook. We can talk without the Pedomorph. It's me and you this time.
All right.
I am not going anywhere, and neither is my mother's office. All right, let's do this before anyone changes their mind.
So yeah,
This
the
way,
office we've been passing
processed
through
meat man.
actually
We're
belongs to
gonna miss
Measurehead's
you,
mother.
Jean.
The lieutenant nods, ready to spend some time on his own.
It depends on the check. Sometimes it's not exactly plot critical and you can sort of do it again and again. Other times there are a few that you do need to pass, and there are various other things. There are various other things you can discover to bend the odds until eventually you win by default.
Don't worry, babe. This won't take long.
But the vast majority of skill checks in the game you can fail and the game keeps on rolling. And very often they result in some really interesting conversations and plot divergences. So anyway, we're going to have a heart-to-heart with Measurehead. This ought to be fun. So as mentioned, this office was his mother's. She used to work for the Union as well. And we're going to get some insight into basically one of the only people in the world he respects.
So, women, huh?
And awful karaoke, yes.
Strange. He seems different in here. Less monolithic, somehow.
It's weird to see him relax.
The room feels soporific in its silence. Dust particles twirling around in the air.
Women.
Women.
I like women.
And? That's what you wanted to talk about? What is this really about?
It's about her. Revachol.
That is a lie you administer yourself. Like heart medicine. Go without it one day, and your heart will stop. Men only want to reverse time for one reason. They say it's about honor, justice, revenge, regret, redemption, and a plethora of false reasons. But further back, deeper in, it is always love that drives them. I'm going to do you a kindness, Poopa. I'm going to share a secret with you. Here is the secret. There is no love in the past, only the present. The past is made of static images, distorted memories, demented nostalgia. This, the present, with all its possibilities, innumerable hits and misses, is far superior. It is a living organism.
What about all the women that surround him? Is the love extended for them as well? There's something else you need to clear up with him, man to man. Why you knocked him out.
So this is the central paradox for Measurehead's character. Obviously, he's a bigot and a Semini supremacist. He believes basically black people are the master race. But he's also actually intelligent and insightful in his own twisted way. Like, he's one of the few people in the game that doesn't just correctly point out alcoholism has destroyed your life, but he can potentially provide you with the wasteland of reality thought, which allows you to fix that, essentially swear off alcohol forever, and that actually changes your stats accordingly. So even though he himself is kind of a horrible person, he has some insightful things to say. So anyway, first, about knocking you out earlier.
Don't apologize. My women liked it. It is important to appear vulnerable sometimes. Vulnerability nurtures emotional contact. Emotional contact amplifies the ecstasies of sex. Like ivy, we are intertwined. Weak and strong. Man and woman. Mother and child.
Wow, this man has truly internalized the psychology of sex.
You seem comfortable here. Do you like this place?
Yes, I have always liked this place. It is my favorite. When I was a kid, I used to come here and wait for my mother to finish her work. Great times were had here. Filling in the great coloring book of the Simonine flora and fauna. The carrion flowers and the monotremes, the mangrove forests and the megabats, and the couch. The couch is very comfortable, even though it is very small. There is no couch like this one.
The couch does look very cozy. He's right about that.
So does your mother work here?
No.
But she used to.
Yes.
Did she retire?
She did, yes. With great honors. The greatest, some say. A true modern ritual. The entire organization attended when she was given the honorary engraved paperweight. It was a tender day.
Literally everything this guy thinks and does is just described in these absolutely epic terms.
There should be something here. A memory, a feeling, even if it's just a glimpse. But the depths of your psyche remain silent. You don't have a single memory of your mother.
I'm really interested in this Shivers check. I've never passed it. But yeah, like he says, you don't have a single memory of your mother, but I'm assuming if you pass this, the detective will remember something about his past. And you don't really get a lot of that beyond his history with his time in the RCM and before that. I can't remember anything about my mother.
I am not surprised. You are like the runt of the litter, abandoned, incapable of nurturing a woman's love. Our mothers are the ones who teach us to receive affection from the opposite sex. A bond you have clearly not experienced. Instead, you have developed this unhealthy obsession with the past, standing before me hoping to turn back time. This is not the answer. Reinvent yourself from defeat.
I like that line. Reinvent yourself from defeat. I'm yoinking that.
Look around you. Look at the advancements in the sexual sciences. All the novel techniques, accessories, preservatives, massage oils, lubrication salves, abortion clinics, and the women. Women who shave and are capable of understanding concepts like polyamory and coitus casualis. The Khoikhoi and their promiscuity are at the forefront of all that.
Novel techniques? Your techniques were probably last novel during the Franco-Nigerian times. You need those techniques, Bratan, to survive!
Yeah, exactly. The point is that he's still looking at this through an incredibly bigoted point of view. Like, yeah, he has preconceptions about Khoikhos, which have something to do with the country of Grad. I gather that's kind of a slang term in itself, possibly a slur, but yeah, he has his own warped little worldview, but within that, he still manages to see some things correctly, in particular with respect to the detective.
Who cares about sexual partners and their promiscuity when you've got the fate and honor of Revachol on your shoulders? Sounds fun. It's high time you incorporated some of these things into your daily life.
It really, really does. It goes much, much deeper into exploring how people think than... Yeah, I'm just trying to decide what to... You know, what the hell? Let's ask about these novel techniques.
You're asking me to share the sacred techniques that I've gathered and internalized on my life journey with you, a stranger?
I mean, yes.
Watch out. He's getting defensive.
Maybe just one or two?
Do not think the serenity of my mother's office makes me forget we are biological competitors. Albeit unevenly matched, you are more likely to get the coalition to sign over their warships than get these weapons of pleasure and control out of me. This knowledge never passes from a man to another man. Not even from a father to his son. This path is to be taken in absolute solitude.
No sharing techniques. Got it. I don't actually care about any of that. I'm just here for Revachol.
Continuous denial. Your lack of psychosexual self-awareness does not surprise me. Something tragic must have happened to you in the past for you to deny it so vigorously.
Dead on.
You have to shed this infantile shell if you ever wish to find a worthy mate.
Everything's revolving around women and sex with this guy. What's that about?
Now it's about to take a really weird turn.
We are life. Life is sexuality. Sexuality in competition with sexuality. The sexuality of other organisms. The point of any competition is to win.
Win what exactly?
The future. In a biological sense, the man whose essence, whose genetic blueprint is passed on to the most hosts, down to the most generations, fulfills his biological purpose to the greatest extent. This is the love victory.
Now you see where his worldview starts to turn everything upside down. So in him, it's basically about preservation of his genes. It's got nothing to do with any kind of emotional attachment.
Spoken like a man defeated by love, unable to face the harsh realities of nature. We are sky, butterflies, rhododendrons, rhinos, nature against nature. Love takes courage, courage to fight. This defeatist talk of cooperation is why you have no future. It is also why you have no love.
That's not true. You have the love of your mother. Or do you?
Well, I don't know.
Maybe even the love of your friends and colleagues.
There is a little bit. Zalm is a French studio, so I think a lot of their actors are French.
Who needs love if you can wield fear? You have cold, hard facts to protect you from heartbreak. And that is enough.
You seem to have a set idea of masculinity. I wonder where it comes from.
This is no time for vague generalities. There is something else on your mind. Ask the question you intended to ask, or face your cowardice.
No, this is a trap. He will say or do something horrible if you go down this path. Time to get personal. He's finally ready to open up to you.
Alright, what made you you, Measurehead?
The only man worth being called a man. Father Jairzino.
Father Iazinio? Sounds like some kind of mystic. Or a magician.
And how did he make you?
Father Jairzino made me hard, where my mother made me soft. Together, they made me complete.
It's very poetic, but you're avoiding the question. How did he raise you?
Father Jairzino was very wise. He realized that if the tender touch of my mother wasn't opposed, I would turn into a complete pussy. So he did what a man must. He became a counterweight of iron. Through scarcity, ascesis, discipline, and respectful distance every father should have for his son.
Now we're getting to the source of his particularly warped worldview, an incredibly toxic view of what masculinity should be. His dad basically abused him.
Smells like physical violence. Just like with Kuno and his dad.
Did he ever hit you? Because it seems like he did.
The stereotypical worries of a traumatized social worker. The reality does not correspond to your personal trauma. And if it did, I would welcome it. A good fight with Father Jairzino would be a great honor. This denial does not serve your spirit. You are like a dog with its tail between its legs. It is visible to all. It is visible to women, and the reason why you haven't found a worthy mate, or why the worthy mate was stolen from you.
Strange. There are no memories of that recorded anywhere in your body. He's making it up. It's more likely that your father wasn't even around to beat you.
Yeah, that seems likely.
It wasn't your father who beat you. It was the world.
This is a weakness I can empathize with. You have my pity. Take solace in it.
Well, thanks for sharing all this with me, I
I
guess.
am merely offering a small glimpse of functional family dynamics. Something you were clearly deprived of.
Yes, so back to babes and turning back time.
Yes, your favorite topics. Clearly it is impossible for you to shed your neurotic obsession. This wailing for the past is a task unfit for men. It is better left for widows mourning their husbands, and for mentally ill communists mourning their commune. If you want advice on babes, or the mysteries of life, or even on Revachol, look forward. To escape your defeated state, you need to move forward. On to future victories.
You don't get it. I need to bring disco back. From the 30s.
It seems to me you are in need of a warning. Here it is. It is absolutely possible to return to the past. You just need to take a ticket to Seregli Island, the southernmost of the Seminole Archipelago. Also
oh, you're gonna love the guys we meet there.
And walk into Pale. Let it dither and rot your mind. Then you can marinate forever in your irreversible defeat, while race enemies laugh at your motionless, gap-mouthed corpse.
No. This does not sound inviting.
Yeah, walking into the Pale would literally kill us, and since it's effectively made of rarefied history, it's also kind of being literal.
Where would you even get a ticket? You can't just pack your bags and leave. Finally, a chance to connect with the divine.
Of course, Inland Empire is all over this.
It gets very cold in the office, like in a desert after the nightfall.
Why do I have a feeling there's a catch?
There is no catch. You will get what you want. The rule is a cruel master, but it is not Pale. Pale takes your mind and rejects the flesh. It is capricious and terrifying, like a virgin. You will lose your courage before her face. Go have a look. The white-haired protein mass at the intersection. A lorry driver. Impossible to miss her if you're even a half-decent cop.
Yeah, we've met.
And yet you're still obsessed with turning back time? After you've seen what it does to a man? A piece of advice? Stop fighting time and face the real antagonist. Face yourself, Poopa. It's a showdown every man must go through. We are done here. And remember, what happens in my mother's office stays in my mother's office. Quiet contemplation ends, biological rivalry resumes.
Hard to say. Considering how much revolves around sex with him, I guess it's the inexperience that's problematic. I don't know. It's difficult following his train of logic sometimes.
Finally. I thought I'd have to come looking for you. What took you so long?
We got into some pretty deep waters there.
Really? What happened?
Probably shouldn't have asked you this.
Got very personal and a bit weird.
Shocking. Did you learn how to turn back time?
Was it a mistake leaving him alone with that guy?
No, he thought it's a bad idea and I should stop obsessing about it.
Huh. So there is something we agree on after all. Didn't see that coming. But let's move. I don't like being up here.
Alright. Let's jump on over. So yeah, as he says, the confrontation is with yourself, and this continues through a few more conversations, so you eventually end up back at the mirror. Like I said, I'm not going to spoil what comes of that, but it is a very interesting window into Harry's psyche and the way he has processed the trauma he's recovering from. But anyway, we're going to jump to another playthrough, and we will go with the Moralist thought. Now, liberal Harry is a broad, milquetoast supporter of the status quo and measured incremental change, if at all. Again, if you know where his story goes, you understand the tie-in. Why a man like him would fear sudden, chaotic disruption. Now, in this playthrough, I managed to shed the expression, and I shaved, and mostly it just makes Harry look even sadder than usual. Kim even comments on it. Hey, we're getting raided!
The bed is still cold from the broken window.
Hey, Jay, hey, Raiders, come on in.
But it's...
Welcome aboard, how's it going?
It's not easy, but your bones are so
what were y'all playing?
From what feel like...
Oh, Kingdom of Amalur, awesome, yeah. Oh, is that an expansion? DLC? God, I haven't thought about that game in a long time. That was actually really good.
Beep, beep, beep.
You can do it. Do it for the picture.
So anyway, yeah, as I was saying, in this one, Harry wakes up one morning and decides he's going to start doing something about all the problems Revachel's facing. Something measured, something...
Good.
Moderate.
Listen, there's something that's been bothering you for a few days now.
Oh, sure, yeah, hang on a second. Alright, let's move that up a bit.
It's a suspicion, or a feeling really, that things are not quite in hand around here. An earth-shattering deduction from your psyche. What will those guys come up with next? Every day, things seem to spin more and more wildly, out of control.
Yep, we got us a
The
hobo cop
center
here.
isn't holding.
Sure thing.
And despite your efforts to moderate and contain these energies, things only seem to be getting worse.
Let's get right to it. What needs to be done?
You've got to find out who bears la responsabilité.
I thought I was assigning responsibility for the murder.
Harry, you're thinking about this too narrowly. La responsabilité isn't concerned with trivial questions like who killed who. It's about the real issues. The human welfare index, the price of staple goods, the transition to real democracy.
What exactly is la responsabilité?
The most awesome, terrible thing. It is human nature to crave la responsabilité and to deny it. That's why it must be distributed across many different organizations, agencies, offices, and portfolios.
Alright, give it to me. I'll accept responsibility.
Whoa. This isn't some kind of dictatorship.
Oh, sorry.
You can't simply seize la responsabilité for yourself. It must be given by a legitimate authority, like a committee.
Do we really have time for all this?
There's always time to follow best practices. Once someone's decided to cut corners for the sake of expediency, who knows what else they're capable of? Swift, decisive action, mass execution, a little self-dealing.
And who should sit on this committee?
Only the most even-keeled minds in Martinez. Your half-brother, the lieutenant, is a natural place to start.
Hey, Kim's gonna have a role in
Together,
this.
you'll be able to discover who has la responsabilité in Revachol. And, if necessary, you'll have the wisdom and expertise to assign it among yourselves.
I'm prepared to take on this awesome burden.
Good luck. Your report is eagerly anticipated.
So yeah, we've decided that we are going to solve problems here. We can't really outline the scope of those problems, and we don't really know what we're going to be doing to solve them. But we're going to form a committee, and we're going to try and sort this out somehow. So yeah, basically we've gotten lost in a whole bunch of neoliberal technobabble, and now we're going to talk to other people of similar disposition.
Yes?
That starts with Kim. Kim! We need to talk about responsibility.
I'm glad to hear it, Detective. I was wondering when we'd get to this very subject.
Good, we're on the same page then.
If you ask me, it's high time for you to set aside these frivolous side tasks and focus 100% of your energies on the case before us.
No, I meant like la responsabilité. You know, the kind that gets assigned.
Why are you pronouncing it like that gentleman from the Institute of Price Stabilité? You know what? Forget it. What specifically are you trying to assign responsibility for?
For this whole situation.
Now I understand. Next, I suppose you're going to tell me you need to form a committee to assign this responsibility?
How did you know?
Simple. Because moral intern types love to form committees. In any event, I am just a humble law official. I may work under the moral intern's umbrella, but I'm certainly not qualified to serve on any committee. You know who might be, though? That Mr. Villeudran. The gentleman you met in the young man's apartment.
Hey, that's thinking.
If I were trying to get in touch with the coalition, I would start by seeking him out. But first you might need to speak with his young companion. Now, was there anything else?
So yeah, we need to find some committee-type people who actually work in government. So happens we know an individual who fits that description. The Sunday friend of the shirtless smoker guy. Or the open shirt smoker guy. Now, as you can imagine, it's a bit suspect to be suddenly interested in a man we met under very questionable circumstances after Harry has potentially found the shirtless smoker guy to be weirdly compelling. Anyway, let's talk. We need to talk to your Sunday friend about again. It's about committee business. Very definitely not gay Illuminati business.
Oh, a committee. How interesting. And if I may ask, Gendarme, what is this committee about?
He's all bemused skepticism. He doesn't actually care what you want with his friend.
It's all about assigning la responsabilité.
God, of course it is. My friend is always trying to convince me I need a little more responsibility, as though I don't have enough going on already. In any case, I would love to help. But the thing is, I don't know where he is. We don't talk about everything, you see. He might have mentioned something about making a tour of some historical sites up the coast. In an unofficial capacity, of course.
Do you know when he'll be back?
Not a clue. I'm not his agenda keeper, you see.
Alright, I guess I'll have to look for him along the coast.
I guess you will. Bye-bye, Gendarme.
Right. Now, ignoring the obvious subtext, and note to self when we upload this to YouTube, add an air horn or something. We are going to try and find this Sunday friend, and see what he has to say about la responsabilité. Now, as I said, we won't be going too far into the quest. Obviously, we're running at a decent time as it is. Where's my map here? Here we go. Oh, motherfucker! It's doing the thing it did in our playthrough. It must be a common bug. Where's that map?
The worn map. Your thing finally.
There we go. Okay. Now we can fast travel. But yeah, like I said, I won't be getting too far into this, but one interesting side note, in addition to one of the few that introduces a new character, it also introduces a non-standard ending. There's a way you can actually end the quest early without technically dying like what normally happens, like if you lose your health, or your morale, or some other special conditions. This one carries out over a few days, up until the tribunal. And, yeah, one of the characters you meet can potentially end your quest early. Now, where is our Sunday friend at? Somewhere at the coast, touring historical sites. That's most likely somewhere around the church, the boardwalk, possibly the Feld building. Let's take a look. It's kind of interesting how easy it is to sort of fall into moralism if you're just not actively choosing a side. It's sort of a default political ideology that it's broadly assumed most officers in the RCM espouse. Kim is technically one, but if you dig deep, there is some kind of sympathy for communism here and there. Essentially, it's the position of taking a lack of position, sort of justifying the status quo, and if not ignoring the plight around you, then at least being unwilling to do much about it. Alright, so he's not here either. Oop.
There's no way the perp is in here.
Oh, I already... That is not quest-related. At this stage of the game, I'm at the part where I'm looking for Ruby, so it's letting me poke and prod through these buildings, or at least from the outside. Sunday friend, are you by the car I fucked up? No, you are not. Motherfucker, where is this guy? That's right, yeah, it was definitely not us. Alright, not here either. Just a sec, folks, I apologize. Should have looked into this more closely. Ah, that's weird. Huh. He should be here, but he's not. I think the quest might have bugged out. We'll do one last check, and then we'll just jump ahead to the, ultra-liberal one.
A scattering of bullet holes is spread across the cracked wall, reaching from one corner to the other.
Nah. Alright, quest must have bugged out. Thanks, Disco Elysium. Here I am trying to show off your cool new content, and you pull this on me. Hey. So yeah, there are various people that you talk to in this quest. Trant is one of them if you're far enough. It does involve the church quest line at some point, but yeah. If we can't find the Sunday friend, we can't progress. My apologies. So, we're going to move on to one that I know works. Sometimes the jank in this game is just kind of charming, and sometimes it's obnoxious. Like I said, with the thing with the where the shoes don't pair properly and become a single
The bed is still
usable
cold from the
item.
broken window.
Occasionally, things happen that actually get
It's
in
not
the
easy,
way,
but your
and
bones
it's
are
a little
so
disappointing
tired.
that it hasn't been fixed. But anyway, Blue the Ultra Liberal one. That is definitely
Recorded in
more
you.
entertaining.
Oh, no.
Let's make lots of money.
Hey, Money Mouth. Indrak, the impeccable hustler provider of the 7th generation. It's showtime with Savvy.
Indrak, the hustler provider, the 7th generation?
Yeah, Swindle Father. Papa Panier. Look, this is serious. No time for distractions. It's time to make money. Lots of it.
I know all about money.
No, you don't. You just keep muttering about your economic self-interest and not doing anything about it. Yeah, I heard you back there. What the hell was that?
Superstar talk. Don't try to keep up with me and my vast dreams.
Superstar talk? Good one, hustler. Gotta keep the dream alive. But it's not really showing up in your net worth yet, is it? And it's what? Day 2, 3, 4?
4. You can see right there on the UI.
It's day 4.
Hey!
If we're counting days since the event. Listen, if you really want to make it in the big leagues, you need to reconceptualize your entire portfolio. Collecting tear and moaning about taxes is not going to cut it. You need to become a millionaire. Now, how do you become a millionaire?
I assume begging rich ladies on boats is not the correct answer.
It should be the other way around. Old mighted money showing up at your doorstep, begging for a slice of cake.
Alright, I give up. I have no idea how to make millions.
Of course you don't. You've never even been close to a sum with more than 3 zeros. Let's face it, you've been on a years-long losing streak. But Savvy's got your back. Savvy's going to book you a charter flight with 80 birds of prey on board. To a land where the streets are paved with Krugerrands and fixed income securities. You'll try again, but this time with money. You'll win her back.
Now, even though this is more comedic than the other quests, you can see the grains of suppressed thought in here. Things you're trying not to think about. Win whom back?
The spirit of ultraliberalism. Your charm. Your spin. Your winning hand.
I've hustled. I've grinded. Show me the millions.
Attaboy. Welcome to the final grind. Here we operate with money on a much higher level than the ordinary citizen. We feed it back into the machine. Stop saving. Start spending. Become a patron. Let's start by getting you into the lucrative art market to diversify your assets and increase your ROI. Speaking of which, know any artists?
Well, now that you mention it.
Interesting. Are we speaking of visual art or something more conceptual?
Good thing I've been preparing for this with my actual art degree.
Don't be silly. The art market isn't about art. It's about gatekeeping, speculative
That'd be a good
bidding,
one.
and showboating.
Cindy seems the type.
You're right. She has the poise of a struggling artist. Very tangible. You can feel the poverty on her. Plus, she has paint. Go and support her like the state never could. Everyone must know that you're a big fucking shark around here.
Alright. So yeah, we're going to become an art dealer, basically. Now, a couple things I want you to note here. You'll note I actually managed to have 50 real here, and most of that is because of one thought in particular. There's a few thoughts in this game where if you get them, they give you money for various actions. For instance, which one is it? Here we go. 15th Indo Tribe gives you 10 cents every time you click a green orb. But this one in particular, Wompty Dompty Dom Center. It sounds dumb as hell. Like I said in the playthrough, it sounds like a BDSM site run by Oompa Loompas. Enjoy that fucking thought. But anyway, Encyclopedia Passives gives plus 10 XP and plus 2 real. You pay 2 suggestion for it, but it's a huge benefit in the long term if you have high encyclopedia, which we do fairly well. Like, there's one book you can actually buy that has like 4 encyclopedia checks in it, and if you pass those with this thought, you get the money to pay for the book. It breaks your money difficulties in half, and basically ensures... Oh, hang on a second. Basically ensures you don't need to worry about money for the rest of the game. Also, the camera appears to be off-center. This is a bit of an issue. Disco, you're breaking my balls here. These are the destinations where my train of thought ends up. I will not suffer them alone. But anyway, another thought you can get, one that was meant... Okay, are we doing this? Hold on a second. Actual art degree is also a thought you can get early on, and that also gives you an experience bonus every time you pass a conceptualization check. There we go. Alright. Now, we're off to go meet Cindy the Skull. Now, as you may recall, she doesn't really like cops, she doesn't really like anything. She's just kind of out there to make her graffiti, do her own thing. But we have developed kind of a weird rapport over the course of the game. Yep.
There, on that balcony. Do you see it?
Cindy? Yes, that's where I'm headed.
Straight into a bull ring with no prep talk. No. It's your first sales negotiation. Savvy's got to give you the do's and don'ts.
Nah, the Skulls are just a gang name.
That's a pathetic-looking bull. Where are the sharpened horns ready to puncture your gristle? There's no real danger here.
Alright, I'm listening.
Artistos are known to repel wealth. It bounces off their skin like rubber. The moment a reasonable business proposal enters their periphery, they go and get political. Nonsense. No one repels wealth. The businessmen just don't know how to entice them. It's true, some of them are known to turn the entire thing into a happening. What you need to do is lure them in with a strong one-liner. Get them on your side before you've even finished a sentence. Show us what you've got. Pretend you're facing the Skull Girl.
We won't be getting that high concept just yet, but there is some weirdness in store for us, I assure you. Anyway, it's your lucky day. I'm in the market for some original art by the creme de la creme.
Mamma mia. If this isn't the top seller in La Delta, no one expected you to nail this on the first try. Congratulazioni.
There's also a thought that lets you just do finger pistols to people. It's great.
Okay then, off you go. Let's see what you've got.
Alright, in the building we go. So yeah, we've woken up, realized we've been hustling for a while and it's gotten us nowhere. We're in for a big score. And once again, we can kind of tie this directly to Harry's past circumstances, where his quest for money now reflects his his lack of it in the past, and current lack of it as well. He's a hustler with big dreams, who thinks those big dreams without money generally don't go anywhere. Now, let us talk to Cindy here. And actually, I'm going to save. There is a white check in this quest.
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
Let us try the line on her, with the pistols.
What's that? The piggy's looking to get into the art market with a snappy business pitch. Watch out, or you'll be auctioned off and face the chop.
The lieutenant straightens his back, waiting to see where this is going. Are we witnessing a performance, perhaps? Play along. Relax. It's all part of her image. She stares at you, fearlessly, waiting for a response.
Perfect. This is all very on brand for you. Love this little persona you've created.
This little persona will grind you into a sausage if you don't stop. I'm not a sellout. The whole point of graffitio being on the street is so everyone can see it. No charge. Expression for all.
There has to be a way to convince her. Everyone has a price. Forget this public art. She must have something private and esoteric. Something that tormented her until she brought it into existence. But how does she make a living? How does she keep a roof over her head? It must be hard.
I'm after something a little more challenging. I have an actual art degree, after all.
I thought you were a pig.
Yes, I'm a pig, but only if we decide to deconstruct what it means to be a pig.
Ooh, little piggy knows the big words. What a waste of a perfectly good saucy-son. Stuffing it full of art speak. Sorry. Even with your fancy degree, you've got nothing to offer me.
Perfect. She isn't interested. All the more reason to move on from this little side task.
Oh, don't get your hopes up, Kim.
Your partner here gets it. Anything else I can not do for you, gentlemen?
Alright, another white check. We got quite a few bonuses, but it's still pretty difficult. So we're gonna back out.
Have you come to admire my mural?
There, I like those odds.
Sure,
Nice.
she's all draped up in ironic detachment, but everyone's gotta eat.
I do have something to offer you in exchange for your art. Money.
Great. The little foray into the art world continues.
Blah, blah. I'm not for sale, piggo.
Told you these artist types repel wealth. Turn it around. It's the seller who wields the power in this relationship.
Really? You're just gonna let go of a chance to milk some stupid piggo rolling in cash?
Uh-oh, you're manipulating me. I do like a chance to rip off some stupid piggos. And I need a pack of cigarettes. And some paint.
Oh, just wait.
Okay, whatever, piggy. Time to leech off each other like the parasites we are. Let me see what I've got.
Even the lieutenant leans closer to inspect the work.
Here. Happy?
Alright.
Interesting. You can immediately see multiple ways to interpret this piece. What is the experience that the artist is trying to create? What bodies and spaces are they seeking to explore? Remember, this is a buyer's market. You're the one who's in charge of pricing.
Show it to me.
She juts out her hand, letting you examine the piece. 3 red splotches have been shot at a diagonal across the surface. Tinier spots of various colors fan out from the same point of origin.
Well, piggo, what do you make of it?
There's tension in these strokes of genius. A desire to step into a dialogue with the viewer, to provoke them. A meditation on Sein und Nicht-Sein. The angle of the paint drops reveals that they were fired at the canvas with the force of a hand cannon. It's one of those ink blot tests, an invitation to connect with the divine.
I see blood clot coins placed as an offering to a pulsing threshold. But what does it mean?
It's a sign. Better pay up, or you'll anger the terrible beast from... What did you say? The threshold. Careful now. I heard it has a soft spot for smoked pork.
Her improv skills could do with some work. That was a pathetic performance. Are we supposed to be scared? None of us are scared.
Would you describe this as one of your signature pieces?
Signature? Oh yeah, pigster. I sneezed while holding a wet brush. Paint flecked onto the canvas, and voila! You don't get more signature than that.
An exquisite commentary on the precious serendipity of the creative process.
If you say so. I like to think that my trigeminal nerve painted it.
How much do you want for it?
67,000 real. And your head on a silver tray.
Remember, this isn't about the art or the artist. This needless purchase implies your excessive wealth. Art comes across as more tasteful than simply hanging cash on the wall.
I don't know, that might be a fun exhibit.
Lowball her. The wretched are used to rolling with the punches.
Alright, so yeah, we can pay her anywhere up from 10 to 50 bucks. And I think she'll actually take 10 bucks, but what the hell, we'll go middle of the road.
All right, can't complain about that. You've got yourself a deal.
Splendid. Your first physical asset. But no time to stop. Money grows old unless it keeps moving. You need to find a buyer, preferably someone who will pay a high price for such an exclusive piece from a local artist.
What about Joyce? She's wealthy.
Nah, she'd probably send the entire Wild Pines legal team after you if she knew you were trading goods around their harbor. She's ready and poised for a hostile takeover.
I could sell it to Gart, hang it up in the whirling in rags.
And become a small-time art peddler? No, think bigger.
Everard can buy it on behalf of the Union.
Doing business with communist dictatorships only works if you've got long-term plans in place, which you don't.
This place isn't exactly bursting with rich people.
There must be someone around here with heavy pockets and an interest in the local art. Tell you what, have a wander around, and I'll let you know if I hear any wealth.
Wait, you can hear wealth?
Yes, if you know what to listen for. That's what happens when you've been in the game for as long as I have.
Where's a good place to
Your
start looking?
senses. I got some vibes from that container you moved with the crane in the harbor. Let's see what's inside. There isn't a door yet that Savvy's VIP status couldn't open.
Look at us, coming to an agreement. Who'd have thought? Anything else you want?
Alright. Now, I didn't get into the cargo container in my Let's Play. It's not strictly speaking necessary, but the character we are about to meet was in the base game. They've got expanded dialogue specifically for the ultraliberal quest. Yep, here we go. And there was a bit of money to be made as well. So let's get over there and let's have a look. Funny story, an artist once made a couple pieces of art by putting the average salary of a person in a certain country in a frame. Then they did it again with a different country, and a museum paid the artist to do it again with a different currency. They just take the money and run. Oh, that's awesome! I love that. Now, normally getting inside the container is a pretty difficult rhetoric check that, over time, becomes easier. There are a few other things you can do to make it easier as well, but because we're here on a quest, we're about to get some help.
There, in that container you moved, there's something rich in there. We've got to get inside.
What do you suggest?
Opening the door. Come on, I shouldn't have to tell you that. Get me up close, and I'll show you how it's done.
Oh, I hadn't heard about that. That sounds crazy.
You're back before the cargo container. Its drawer has not lessened since you were last here. If anything, it seems to have grown slightly.
So yeah, with Savoir-Faire helping us because of the quest, we have a much easier chance of getting it open. It's still not easy, but it's pretty much a done deal. Although I have failed 92% checks before. Anyway, here's the thing. You need to be ready for some reality-bending shit before I open this door, ladies and gentlemen. You need to accept that the world you perceive is mostly an abstraction pieced together by sensory input, converted into a coherent whole by the imperfect meat machinery of your brain. A fundamental truth lies behind this door, and I have to ask you, here and now, are you ready for that truth? Oh, hey, Ivy, good to see you. But anyway, yeah, we are about to open the doors to some real Twilight Zone shit here, kids. Get ready.
Step aside, rank and file. Savvy's at the top of the VIP list here. That's right. Out of the way. Whoa. Watch it. How'd he get in front? Little slimeball. Thank you. Now, are you ready? It's time to make our entrance.
Hi, it's Savvy here. Savvy with 2 V's. I'm on the list. The guest list.
At first, your knock rings hollow on the door. And then, just like that, you hear a click, then a rattle. Some mechanism unlocks itself inside the door.
Ahoy! Come on in!
Let us meet the mega-rich light-bending guy.
You can't be serious.
And I know what you're thinking. Is that literal? I assure you, it is very, very literal.
The stands at the far end of the shipping container. It's hard to say anything more about him. You cannot make out any of his details, but you do feel the overwhelming presence of capital. The feeling causes all the hairs on your body to stand at attention, like soldiers preparing for review. Something's amiss. The light beams bend around his face and scatter in 1,000 directions. It seems the laws of physics do not apply here. They are suspended, distorted, and echo.
Yeah, good catch. Our money counter varies with our distance to this man. As we near him, perceptions of light, money, and all other means of perceiving this man become warped.
Trying to visualize the physics at play is liable to give you an aneurysm. Don't think about it too hard.
I'm trying not to.
In the general stillness, only your tongue moves, flickering as you utter.
We stand before an entity one can only describe as eldritch. What do we say to this man?
Welcome. Savvy, was it? Make yourself at home. Sorry, I'm not better able to receive you. I wasn't expecting visitors today.
You can't hear him exactly, yet you're able to understand every word he says. It is very strange. An overwhelming hum covers everything. Voice doesn't escape from him.
Now, what can I do for you, gentlemen?
Who are you?
Who am I? Oh, I haven't been asked that question for such a long time. I don't meet a lot of people outside my circle these days. Anyhow, my name is Rustam Diodore, investor, license holder, and extremely high net worth individual. And your name is Savvy, right?
We've hit the big time. This is the man who's going to make you rich. Always rely on your friendly neighborhood swindler.
Mr. Diodore, I think there's been some confusion. His name is, in fact, not Savvy. Let's start over. I am Lieutenant Kim Kisoragi of the RCM, and this is my partner...
The name's Raphael Ambrosius Cousteau, most likely.
Pleasure to meet you, Raphael. I'm surprised in a positive manner, to understand, about your exceedingly high net worth name.
It is not. Never mind.
Oh, don't you worry, Lieutenant. I can tell a good man when I see one.
How did you become so rich?
To be perfectly blunt, I inherited my fortune from my grandmother, who herself was an extremely high net worth individual back in Gra. All I did was take her fortune and invest it prudently. Believe it or not, it takes more than a bit of skill not to blow a vast fortune on sailing boats, bad choices, and unsupervised state policy.
Actually, at the level this guy is, it takes several generations to do that. But, alright.
What's it like being an extremely high net worth individual?
I gotta tell you, at first, being rich is a lot of work. You've got to work hard because everything's so darn expensive. You know, prices increase exponentially at this income level. But then, once you've reached my position, it's nearly impossible for me not to make money. My assets are so diversified that I'm bound to come out ahead no matter what. Some of my lower net worth friends say to me, but doesn't that take all the fun out of it? And I tell them, not really.
It's great that you've done so well for yourself, but don't you think you owe some of that wealth to the rest of society?
Sure. And they benefit when I buy things to stimulate the economy. Do you know how many jobs it takes to build and maintain a racing yacht?
Hundreds?
Dozens, at least. Of course, in the future, it will all be automated. But my point is this. Every man gets what he earns. It's the height of tyranny to take that from him. Capital makes one speechless, does it not? Blinds like the sun that rises from beyond the horizon after a gloomy winter.
Hey, all this talk about money has made you lose the thread. What is going on with the light in this place? That's what you need to ask him about.
There's something strange about you.
What do you mean?
Well, I don't know how to put it. You look somehow a little different.
Are you talking about my chin?
No, I mean, I can't even see you. It's as if something is happening to the light.
Oh, that's what you mean. Yes, I've heard of this effect, though I've never witnessed it myself, of course. It has something to do with our Weiss-Wiesemann coefficient.
The Weiss-Wiesemann coefficient is a ratio designed to reflect the difference in net worth between individuals. When the coefficient is close to 1, or 100%, it means one person possesses all the net worth among that group of individuals. It's been observed that when the Weiss-Wiesemann coefficient reaches about 0.96 or so, the laws of physics begin to bend around the high net worth individual.
So, what is our coefficient?
The Weiss-Wiesemann coefficient for you and this individual appears to be 0.9998, repeating.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's not good.
Are you telling me that you are so rich that light literally bends around your face?
Among other things. But calm down. I am but a lowly single-digit billionaire.
Really?
No, not really. There are actually quite many digits.
A man this chill is at least a triple-digit billionaire.
Cam, are you seeing this weird stuff?
I see nothing of the sort. To be frank, all I see is a gentleman who is unusually well dressed for Martinez, in a cargo container, which I admit is odd.
Yes, I imagine that does look strange to you. My container.
So yeah, Kim doesn't see it, but we do because of our extreme poverty. All this is essentially a reflection of the vast, almost physically perceptible difference between his wealth and status and ours. We physically feel so poor that we struggle to even look upon this man.
Traveling. This is a great way to get around. It's fun, it's safe, and it gives me lots of time to think.
There are layers to this.
By the way, let me now ask you a question. Where are we exactly?
In the very, very early days of colonizing this archipelago, the kingdom of Sirens, a precursor of a modern Sur-le-Clay, used to own the city of Revachol, an obscure detail in the bigger picture, but still worth dropping.
We're in Revachol, formerly a colony of the kingdom of Surinese, or Suren. I already forgot how he pronounced it. God damn it.
A fellow history buff. I myself am currently reading up on Franco-Nigerian era trains. Very interesting stuff. It's a shame I can't get out and explore myself.
Yeah, no kidding.
One of the downsides of being an extremely high net worth individual is that mobs of low net worth individuals are constantly banding together to ask for money.
Yeah, those bastards. So you travel from place to place via shipping container?
Smart, you know? It also provides a means to hide from all the targeted advertising we extremely high net worth individuals are constantly subjected to.
Yeah, what a shame. It would be a terrible, terrible shame.
Radio systems, fail-proof outerwear, and so on. It just gets a bit middle class after a while. A bit bourgeois.
Those things all sound pretty nice.
Don't get me wrong. They're nice things. But once you achieve a certain level of wealth, your time and mental space become much more important than material goods.
He speaks from the heart. He has very different problems compared to low net worth individuals such as yourself. For example, no problems at all.
Right, now that we've sorted that out, let me ask you something else. Right, have you considered breaking into the local art market?
There it is. I knew it as soon as you did the Milton 32-8 note. A fellow entrepreneur. The art market, you say? Sure, hit me with it. As they say, I'm keen to hear what you have in mind.
Wait, the Milton 32-8 knock?
Yes, the special knock that helps us ultras identify each other. I almost forgot it myself, but I'm getting sidetracked. Tell me about your business proposal. I'm all ears.
I've recently discovered a local painter with enormous potential.
A painter? I'm always looking to expand into new asset classes. Who's the artist?
Cindy the Skull.
Ah, and the name of the piece?
The Arduous Slaughter of the 8th Pinniped.
There's no sign of a reaction for a good 3 seconds. Then...
Wonderful things, aren't they? Names. they can completely change your reading of a person, or in this case, a painting. Before I invest, I need to know more about the work. How do I know this asset is going to appreciate with time?
This is the only question that matters. Fail to come up with an interesting hook, and he's out. Remember, you're not just selling a painting. You're selling a story. Give the man a reason to throw down that paper. The comfortably wealthy want their views challenged when making a purchase. Don't hold back.
Well now, let's see here. You know what? You're actually the first person to see this painting after the artist.
You mean even you haven't looked at it?
What he wants to know is how exclusive it is. The more untouched it is, the better.
I haven't so much as squinted at it. It's the exclusivity that gives it value.
I see. So by artificially constraining supply, you're also stimulating demand. I have to say, it's a brilliant strategy.
Wow, he worked it out all by himself. Such a clever boy. But is he gonna pay up?
Don't we all, Kirby?
Well, I think that settles it. You found a buyer, my friend. A pleasure transacting with you. However, there are a few complications. I don't have the cash on me right now to pay for art of this caliber. What I can instead offer are shares in Mauer Koschlei Mercury Group.
Shares. That's even better. You can do a lot with them if you play your cards right.
What is Mauer Koschlei Mercury Group?
It's a Gotwaldian Ilmaran company that specializes in extracting mercury. It's seen massive growth lately due to the discovery of Ryotvark mercury.
Oh, we hustling like a pro today, baby.
Have you heard about it? At the moment, it's trading at more than 1.5 times the price of gold. That's because it's an essential component in the next generation of radio computers. The RAM's using it in their next model. I can't wait for mine to turn up. My predictions say its improved speed and azimuthal range should increase my...
Blah, 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 I got the idea.
The combination of Ream's solid engineering and the new a step forward for technology. Yes, but only for those who can afford
Kirby,
it.
don't mind if I do. What are these shares
I
worth?
bought these shares many years ago for a steal. As predicted, Mauer Koschlei Mercury's operating profit has increased year on year, and there is no signs of it slowing down. People always need mercury, which means you could net yourself a considerable profit if you need some immediate liquidity. But if you don't mind waiting, I expect the value of these shares to double within the next 5 years.
Seems like a clever investment. Definitely worth thinking about if you care about your future.
We have a deal.
Splendid.
It looks almost ethereal. Is it even real?
What's that?
This is a stock certificate. Well, a photocopy of one. Nevertheless, it's solid proof that you own shares in Mauer Koschlei Mercury Group.
Thanks.
The light around the individual in front of you changes somehow as you take the scroll. You can't figure out what's different. You just know that it is. Something's rattling within you. It feels like the first penny dropped into a piggy bank. The Weiss-Wiesmann coefficient for you and this individual has now dropped to 0.9989, repeating.
Yeah.
That concludes our part of the transaction. Once you've turned over the asset, my people will get the legal ball rolling. Another deal complete. Welcome to the big leagues! If you haven't already, I'd advise you to consider hiring a personal brand strategist. What don't they do? They practically do everything.
Did you hook me up with one?
Unfortunately not. I only know the ones who work with multi-millionaires and beyond. But take a look around, and I'm sure you'll find one.
Here's an avant-garde proposal. What about Idiot Doom Spiral?
Oh.
He used to hustle and hang out with the sales hawks and trend pushers of the marketing world. Let's ask him if he knows any personal brand strategists.
This is the absolute fucking best idea possible.
Oh, And we should see what this net worth can do. Might score a discount, or better yet, get you some free goods. That's the kind of thing that really makes you feel like a hotshot. Ask the local merchants about it if you get the chance.
So, what's next on the agenda?
Alright, we'll leave it there. Thanks for your time.
Why go so soon? I feel we've so much more to talk about. Ah, well, until next time.
There is actually one other thing you can do with him. If you go down the ask for money route, you can potentially hustle him, and if you got the right build, you can get like $100 out of him through presenting a business plan that's doomed to fail. Anyway, yeah, as we move away, we can see our money counter resetting back to normal. We do, however, have the net worth counter. The net worth counter is functionally meaningless. It's just there so long as we have the stocks, the stock certificate. And there are things we can do with that. As mentioned, we can go to Idiot Doom Spiral. There's something else we can do to sort of promote our brand. You can go to the pawn shop and talk to Bird's Nest Roy. He's got some stuff you can do with it. But the whole thing is basically a wacky misadventure trying to make some more money. And it goes some places I honestly don't expect. I honestly did not expect when going through. It was genuinely hilarious start to finish, and even took on kind of a weirdly heartwarming turn towards the end when you start doing stuff with Doom Spiral. But anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll call it there. As mentioned, Eyes and I are going to be working on the communist one, and trust me, there's a lot of entertaining stuff there. But I will be off for the next week. I'll be leaving town on Tuesday and back the following Tuesday, so no Saturday, no Sunday stream. I'll be back on New Year's Day, January 2022. Here's hoping that it's a better year than 2021. But yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in. Have a good night. I'll see you next time. Gonna stop recording right here.